automotive mechanic, and says, you know, I want to work on Harleys full time, because I was building Harleys in my garage, and sort of ad in the Easy Rider magazine to go to a Motorcycle Mechanics Institute here in Phoenix. So I filled it out and sent it off, and a few months later, the recruiter called me up, and that was the start of it. I sold everything I had, and got a plane ticket, and everyone was telling me, Nick, if you go to America, you're going to get turned around and shipped back, right? Everyone was poo-pooing on it, right?
Sure.
Because no one had ever done it. And I was in a little town called Kaikoui in Northland, New Zealand, and no one had even left the town. Small town, didn't have a traffic light in it. And so I said, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to go anyway. So I sold what little I had, came over to Arizona, didn't know anybody, didn't have a place to stay, and I just had a little bit of traveler's checks, and that was the start of it. And it was, my parents didn't know where I was, and right, it was kind of, looking back now, it's when you're naive and you don't know, and you just, it's like being poor in another country. You don't know you're poor until you meet somebody that's not, right? So you could be eating rocks and think it's normal. So it's kind of the same thing. I came here and I was like, wow, there's opportunity, and I can do things that I like doing. And no opportunity like that in New Zealand, not on this type of scale.
As a 19-year-old man that far away from home, was there a period where you got very homesick or missed your friends? What was it, did you have a certain friend here that eventually made you feel welcome? I just know from being far away, sometimes it's really, really hard, especially at that age, if you've never been far away from home.
You just figure it out, and I can make friends with a rock. So, you know, I had a few buddies at school, and you know, you just take one step at a time. And I really loved the content at school, right? When I grew up, I couldn't focus on at a normal school, so I left school when I was 15, and you know, once I got on the motorcycle and automotive stuff, I was a sponge, and I sucked it all in, and I was interested, and that's the key to going to school, is be interested in the subject, and you'll become the best at it.
I believe you said in one of your previous interviews that you weren't interested in traditional school at all. It was boring.
No, I couldn't. Yeah.
But when it came to motorcycles, you were all in.
Absolutely.
That's great. Maybe that's one of the secrets of life too, that passion is a secret ingredient for a lot of people.
There's multiple ways to go through life to get successful, right? And I believe being successful is doing something you like doing every day, right? It's not money. That doesn't mean shit. You do something you like doing, money will just come.
Now, in 1996, things were a lot more affordable, but still by pay standards back then, this had to be an astronomical expense. How did you make ends meet?
Well, I came here, and the exchange rate on the New Zealand dollar to the US dollar was 49 cents. Ooh. So basically, for $2 New Zealand, I could get $1 US, right? So I sold everything I had in New Zealand, which wasn't a lot, my car, my motorcycle, all my tools, and to come here. And I had to have enough to pay for the school, because I couldn't get a student loan to pay for the school, so that was like $17,000. And then I had just a couple grand left to go try and live for 6 months. And so I had to get a job pulling V8s out of and transmissions out of trucks, you know, out in the Stones, at a little shop up the street here. Wow. They're not in business anymore. Under the table for $10 an hour, and I go there after school and wrench until I get enough money to eat.
And you were able to get that just from knocking on doors and talking to these guys?
Well, I couldn't work because I didn't have a work visa, so I had to go do it under the table, right?
Sure.
And so yeah, I had to go to every automotive shop I could to see if I could help out.
Well, it sounds like what you just said about how you can make friends with a rock. You must have had a pretty good personality, because as you know, if somebody just walks through the door and wants to work for you, you probably got to feel them out a little bit.
Absolutely.
Before you give them an under-the-table opportunity. How were you able to get that opportunity from these guys?
Man, it's just, I don't know, it's just talking, right? And you can tell pretty quick if somebody's a bullshitter or if somebody doesn't know what they're talking about, right? And the way I present things is you go in there and you never say no, right? I'll do whatever you need. I'll sweep the freeway. It doesn't matter, right? I'll do anything you need, right? I just need a couple bucks so I can keep going to school and pay my bill, my rent bill. And so yeah, this company up the street gave me a chance, and I worked for them around the clock, right? And did what it took.
Well, I'm sure the other side of that is once said employer figures out that you're good at what you do and you work cheap, then they probably, like I said, just want you to work all the time.
Absolutely.
Then you're in.
I was working weekends and doing what it took until I could get through school, and then went to the motorcycle school, and I pretty much was top of my class through that whole school, and it was a 98 Sturgis in 98. I jumped on my Harley and rode the Sturgis.
Very cool.
And yeah, that was one of the highlights of my life.
Yeah, that's really cool. I want to talk about that in a second. One more thing I want to ask you about the school that reminds me of similar experience I had is, I showed up at the University of Florida with a $1,700 savings bond. Yep. God bless my grandpa, Depression survivor, World War II survivor. He said, "Don't worry, I got your college taken care of." Yeah. We cashed it in. It was $1,700. I said, "Oh boy, I got some work to do." But because I was paying for my classes, I had such a responsibility to get the most out of it, where I went to school with some kids that maybe mom and dad paid for everything and they weren't taking it quite as serious. So I heard a story that you were telling that some of the kids would go out and smoke cigarettes and take a break, and you would go up and ask the teacher for more information. Yes. You would try to get more out of that.
Absolutely. I wasn't there to mess around, right? I was there to learn as much as I could, and I was fascinated with the subject. So the other guys would piss off the lunch, and the teachers are still in the classroom. I'd go up there and just, drill them and debate them on some stuff, they became liking me, and I became helping them with the other students, right? So it was a really good experience for me.
It reminds me of the song lyric. The band's escaping me right now. 1 foot on the platform, 1 foot on the train. And I remember the teacher was explaining to me, he's singing about how he didn't have a choice. He was all in to make it. And you hear about athletes, racers, business owners. A lot of times you ask them, "How did you make it?" And they say, "I had to." Yes. Do you feel like it was that survival that pushed you? You had no choice.
I had no choice, man. And one of the key things that's a driver in the back of my mind every time that a challenge would be presented to me that they could put me out of business, I would think to myself, you know what? I left my daughter behind. She was a year old in New Zealand, and I need to make sure that I can provide for her later. Because when I was younger, I didn't have the resources to be able to, right? I couldn't. And if I stayed there, right, I'd get in trouble. So I says, you know what? I gotta make sure that I go to America and I build something of myself so I can help my daughter when she's older. And that's the driving force in the back of my mind. Still.
Very cool.
Still, I can't fail. Failure is not an option.
I like it. I like the mindset. Yeah. So 1996, you have virtually nothing but some traveler's checks. You're struggling to make it. By 98, you ride this awesome motorcycle, Sturgis. So something must have happened in between that time when you realized you were stable enough to make it. At what point did you realize, I can do this, I'm going to make it financially?
3 years ago.
Well, congratulations. I'm still not there yet. I'm hoping to get there, but tell me a little bit about that. I like, and by the way, very telling mindset of somebody who succeeds.
Yeah, it was roughly 3 years ago.
Wow.
So what I say, I've been in business almost 26 years, and it was a 22 years for overnight success. And my dad sent me this bike in '97. This was his bike, and and this one that I rode to Sturgis.
Gorgeous.
Because I had to sell my bike in New Zealand to come over.
Sure.
And so my dad sold me this, and
So by the time that trip rolled around, you had been in the States now 2 years, you had some education under your belt.
Yes.
And you rode to arguably the world's biggest motorcycle rally. We always say, what's bigger, Daytona or Sturgis? But, I mean, what were your thoughts when
I was still young and dumb, man. I was hard, young and dumb. And it was, right, you look at all the easy rider, right? I'm gonna ride across country, easy rider, and I'm gonna sleep on the side of the road. Well, that was my mentality, right? Fuck, I could do it, no problem. So I ride my bike there, and I got a bedroll on the front of my motorcycle, and I said, fuck it, I'm gonna sleep wherever I land, right? I get into Sturgis, and it starts pissing down with rain.
Oh, man.
So I'm sleeping under a picnic table at this campground, right? I'm freezing, dude. I'm shivering my bag off. And it was probably 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm fucking I'm freezing. Didn't have money to go get a hotel, right?
Sure.
I couldn't go get a hotel.
Sure.
I need gas money to get home.
Yeah.
And so this guy walks up. He's some biker at the, hey man, get out of there. Go sleep in my cabin's right here. He had one of those little cabins. Go sleep in there. And man, it was like Jesus shining the light on me, man. I was like, oh my God, dude, I could kiss you on the lips right now. Right? It was just, this dude just come up and, come on, guy, get out of here. Go sleep in I got bunk beds in my little cabin there. And yeah, I stayed there for 2 days. Man, I still remember that dude. It's like Jesus.
Isn't that great? That's the motorcycle community in a nutshell too.
Yeah.
The brotherhood, being there for each other. I've had so many situations like that where somebody has bailed me out. And it's funny because even when I go to Sturgis to this day, I see some people that try to do it old school with a sleeping bag up front. And I think, man, maybe for a day or two, then you look at the hailstorm and the rainstorm, and I'm like, I guess you could call me a city boy, but I want a roof over my head. Yeah. But that's so cool that guy did that for you. I had a similar story one time. I was in college and I was riding my bicycle through a terrible storm coming back from the drag strip, Gainesville Raceway. A guy that I'm friends with to this day, motorcycle racer, stopped, picked me up, took me down to my dorm, actually took me out to eat, got me something to eat, and I'm just thinking, what great people you meet
absolutely
in this industry. Is it, when you look back at what this guy did for you, is that some of the motivation you have to, it seems like you always pay it forward and give back?
Absolutely, man, and that's one of the secrets to life, is to give more than you take and give first, right? If you help people out, God's going to help you back, so just, yeah. Don't be a stingy prick.
So I like that. So rocking and rolling here in America, what was your first big job that really helped you pay the bills after school?
Well, I had to marry the Sheila for a green card, and that didn't work out. But I tried.
Oh boy.
Yeah, and then she was a miserable shitbag. But anyway, I ended up the wife that I'm married to now. We got married in 2000.
Heather. Awesome. Yeah. Very cool. And Heather worked at the Harley dealership, right?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. And so yeah, we got married in 2000. She's been supporting me ever since.
And former Miss Arizona?
Yes, Arizona Bike Week 2000.
You go, man. So you came over, got a successful.
I was kind of a chick magnet back then.
That's what it sounds like. They like the New Zealand guy, huh? How about that? Very cool. All right. So when did you decide to take this leap into owning your own business? How did this come about?
There again, you're naive. You got a dream, and I didn't know what success was or how to even get there. All I knew was I wanted to work on motorcycles and be the best at it, and build performance bikes, and be the best at it. I didn't know where I was going. One of my closest friends, my best friend Brian Boswick, he was a corporate guy back when I first started. He walked to my shop. He had been running 2,500 people in a corporate company, right, in sales. And he asked me a question when I was sitting there on the rack. I got the telephone here. I'm working on a bike. I'm running out to unload another motorcycle, right, just me in the shop. And he says, where do you see yourself in 5 years? How are you going to scale your business? So I just looked at him. Dude, no one's ever asked me that before. I had no clue, right? I didn't know nothing about business, didn't know nothing about nothing. And when you're naive, you kind of jump in, right, not knowing where the downfalls are. And, so I just learn it as I go. I've been mentored by a lot of successful people, and you fall in the holes and you figure out how to not fall in the next one.
I remember hearing the story when you first started, the business was slow and Heather would come visit you and you were sweeping out the floor because you were just waiting for customers. How hard was it to keep everything afloat and keep yourself positive in that type of situation?
Well, it was like I didn't need a lot to live, right? Heather was working as a secretary job, so she was bringing in a couple bucks to pay the rent. We were staying in a studio apartment, and I didn't need much, right? So we just did what we could, and I would do anything. If guy dropped off his motorcycle and said, "Hey, take my truck," right? So he borrowed my truck while I'm working on his bike. So it was kind of like, and then as I get more and more customers, more people get to know me, and I start getting developing being known for being a performance guy and being a tuner. And so I was getting guys from all around the country shipping their bikes to us. And so then what I'd do is because I had an open shop, little one-bay open shop, I would work on the bikes during the day, and then as soon as 5 o'clock came, I'd put them on the dyno and run it and tune them at night.
Wow.
Because as soon as you run a bike on the dyno in a small complex, no one can talk on their phones, right? So all the neighbors get pissed off and start dobbing me in. So, you know, I had to do my tuning at nighttime.
So would you always consider yourself performance first guy?
Absolutely.
Okay. And what was it that we see some builders, you know, you got the legendary Jesse James and Paul Tuttle and everything they did, and Indian Larry and Billy Lane, and these guys built works of art, but you were more focused on the performance.
Yes.
Why was that?
I've just always been a performance guy, right? We had turbochargers in New Zealand, you know, because the engines are small, right? So to make horsepower, you get a small engine because the gas prices are so expensive. You get a small engine and you put a turbocharger on it, and then it effectively doubles the cubic inch. So that's the mentality that I had growing up. Small motors, put a boost in it, and it'd be more dependable than a big motor and drink less gas. When you're paying $12 a gallon for fuel, right, and you're making $7 an hour, it's hard to justify, you know, in New Zealand.
Sure. Do you feel like it was the turbo system that took your company to the next level?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Cool. And you tell me, because, I'm sorry, go ahead.
It got us started. We started turbocharging. Well, this was one of the first bikes turbochargers back in 2000. And I bought a couple of kits from a company and the kits went up to snuff. So I said, you know, I can do a better job at this. And so that's how it started. And when 2003, when the V-Rod came out, that was my first production kit. Right, we started turbocharging V-Rods, and then we sold a gazillion of those, and that got me the money to be able to invest in the next model, the next model, next model. So we could, you know, we work a little bit, invest in, right, just to make enough money, just to invest back into the product, and that was the key to our evolve, right? How we could evolve. I didn't have no money guy come up to me and say, "Here, Nick, here's $1 million. Go do what you want to do." I'd do it, you know, $1 at a time. Right, and you know it's a lot harder to lose it if you do it $1 at a time versus just getting a chunk of money and throwing it at the wind and hopefully it works, right? So it's all grassroots stuff.
To your knowledge, are you the first to put a production turbo on a Harley-Davidson?
We pretty much built the industry for turbocharging. It was poo-pooed on. We had to fight all the naysayers and all the guys that say, "Oh, it's going to blow up your motor. It's going to do this. It's going to do that." Right? That's been the black cloud over us since we started, and over the years it's getting lighter and lighter and lighter. Now the sunshine's shining on us. Everyone wants one, and they realize it's a production kit, and it's a bolt-on, and it's dependable, and it makes great power, and it's usable.
I love it. I spent most of my childhood at the drag strip, so I was very familiar with some of the old school turbos that we'd see on GSs and KZs, but very rarely would you see one on a Harley-Davidson.
Yeah.
Did you, were you ever interested in the metric bikes as well?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Right. I'm still, from when I was a kid, right, the Honda made a turbocharged bike, Kawasaki made a turbocharged bike, right? And I used to stare at those things and yeah, I've always been into turbochargers. In New Zealand, we turbocharged Mazdas because I did my apprenticeship in a Mazda franchise.
Sure. It is so rare to put one on a Harley. What do you think? Why do you think?
It's not supposed to have it, right?
I know, right?
It's not supposed to have it. The engine's technically not supposed to run, right? It's kind of a toilet, and right, but we make the toilet work better.
I love it. I started noticing when bagger drag racing and road racing got really hot, I started seeing a lot of kits at the racetrack. And then I would say, I don't know exactly when it was, you know better than me, but about a decade ago, all of a sudden you start seeing them on all these street bikes out here. And I come out to Arizona Bike Week and it's like, wow, this one's got a turbo, this one's got a turbo. Did that spread like wildfire once you proved, hey, this is a safe combination for the street, this is a fun combination for the street? Did it just take off?
Yes. Well, what happened was so would get into certain, whether it be land speed racing, bagger racing, drag racing, right? We'll have our turbocharger, our production kit on these bikes. They'll go out there and they'll do well. They'll set records. They'll do championships, and then we get the credibility, obviously, right? So we can have that to hang on our hat while we're still working on building the production kit to where it's a seamless bolt-on, no hassle, no problem kit, right? So we have everything going for it now. We have the factory-like install, fit and finish, and we have the proof to back up that it's dependable and it makes great power.
Amazing. What was the most difficult part about turbocharging a Harley when I'm sure back in the day, I bet there were a lot of people that said, don't do this. You're wasting your time. There's not a market for this. This isn't going to work. This is silly.
9 out of 10 people. Wow. 9 out of 10 people says it's, yeah. And so we had to change the mindset of so many people, and now you got the guys that weren't believers that are believers, right? And that's so hard to change the mindset of an old biker, right? My dad was an old biker, right? If I grew up, my dad's riding old shovels, and that's gave me the passion to love Harley-Davidson.
The way that bikes have evolved, do you feel like you were in the right place at the right time? I know you said when they went from carburetors to fuel injection, you being the expert tuner, that played right into your hand.
That's when we looked at it and about time, right? About time Harley got fuel injection, and 01 was it 2000, 2001? Softail came out with Delphi, so that was probably our first platform that was decent. And then 02, when the touring bikes came out, the twin cam touring Delphi, two-piece throttle body, when that came out, that was our start. And we're like, finally, we got something that we can work with.
What's the most common reaction you get when you get what we know about these Harley riders that we love? Some of them are just entrenched in tradition. You and I were talking about that's why maybe they didn't always love the V-Rod. But when you get one of those guys to put a turbo on finally that maybe was resisting it, what's the reaction you get?
Man, smile from ear to ear. It's and a lot of times I'll just say, take one of my bikes, take it for a spin, right? Take it out, go beat the bag off it, right?
Wow. And
they'll come back and they can't believe it. And then once you've had a turbo bike, you'll never go back. One of our turbochargers. There's guys in the industry trying to knock us off, right? But they have the time under their belt, right? And that's what we try to prove, or at least get that message across, guys. Just because we're doing it great doesn't mean everyone else is, right? We got 25 years of making sure the shit works, and it's just not gonna crack. It's not gonna fall off your bike. And we worked with Thundermax for many years to get their system boost capable, right? So we got everything to where it works for our system, and we couldn't do it ourselves. We couldn't do it. We got other companies that help support us too.
It seems like that's really the other piece of the puzzle right now with everything that's going on in the ECU market and the advancements that they've made. Have you had to work hand in hand with a lot of these companies to try to get your stuff to perform?
Well, Thundermax was the main one.
Thundermax.
Right? Thundermax. Worked with Ben from Impact for a little while, but mainly Thundermax. That's our tried system that we sell with every turbo system. Is this Thundermax auto tune system with our 2-bar sensor, and it works great, and it's a dependable unit.
Typically, how much horsepower does a turbo system add to a street Harley?
Typically you can double the power.
Double the power.
You can typically double it. So
do you lose any reliability or anything? Or?
Well, it depends how you can beat anything. You can break anything. You can break a stock bike, right? So it's like what I tell guys. It's the most dependable way to make power, right? It's smooth power. It sneaks up on the drivetrain. It's not harsh hitting. It's not going to beat up the motor as it's running, right? It's like a rubber band. It's smooth, streetable power. So it's easy on the drivetrain, easy on the drive belt. But there's always an exception. You can break anything, right? But it's the most dependable way to make power.
I know you're echoing what one of your great buddies, Brock Davidson, said, and a bunch of other people from the drag racing world, because they always have that turbo versus nitrous debate.
Yes.
And they always say, look, nitrous guys, we're sick of rebuilding engines every single night. These turbo guys are over there drinking Gatorade, relaxing,
exactly.
And it's even out on that level. It's very, very dependable.
Yes.
Which
Look at all the fastest cars. They're pretty much all turbocharged.
Super cool. I'd like to back up for a second, if we could, and just talk about, again, some of the hardship that you overcame. We talked about the humble beginning, but then you unfortunately lost your business partner. And I know not only was he like family to you, he was an integral part of the company, and you really didn't have anything backed up.
No, there was a lot of those challenges, man.
Wow.
Just being in business, you don't know what you don't know. So there's so many things in business trying to take you out. Back in the early days, 2018, we had a fire. Neighbors burned our building down.
Oh no! How did that happen?
Fucking neighbors doing what it looked like they were doing an insurance job on their side, and it came across the demising wall and wiped my whole side out, right? And that was a $2.5 million loss.
Oh my
And the
gosh.
insurance company gave me $400,000 to rebuild. And
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, and it was terrible. It was, That should have taken us out. And
How do we have insurance situations like that in this country? That
insurance
we
is a
pay
big
all
scam. It's such a scam. There's so many. You got to know so much. I know more about insurance policies now than most guys that are trying to sell them to you. Yeah, I had a co-insurance policy that was written up wrong, and the building that burned wasn't even on my policy, but I had insurance certs for it, and I was paying a lot of money in insurance. It wasn't like I was getting some cheap Mickey Mouse insurance. I just didn't know nothing about it, and I didn't look into the details. And that's one of the lessons: is look at the details, right? Don't just take things for granted. Look at the details. And so that bit me in the ass. And then I let a good friend of mine buy into my machine shop because he was a machinist and I didn't know how to run a machine. But I bought a machine shop that went out of business. And so I was like, well, fuck, I got this machine shop. I need to find a guy to run it because I didn't know how to turn the prick on. And so Mike Paulson was his name, and I hired him because he needed a job. And then he says, Nick, I want to buy into the company. So I says, okay. He gave me a couple bucks, and I gave him 20% of the company. And then we did. This is another lesson, insurance lesson. We did a key man insurance policy on each other.
What was it called?
Key man insurance policy.
Okay.
And I guess I signed the policy over to his mum, which I can't remember. I did, but I did.
Right.
So he gets in a car accident on the freeway, flips out of the car, dies, and the insurance policy goes to his mum, and then I got to buy his shares back from his estate.
Oh my gosh!
Right, and 5 years later, I buy my shares back from his estate, and yeah, we did nothing documented, so we had to go through and redo every product that we had, and yeah, so that was a lesson on process and people, process, technology, right? So those are the three things in the triangle.
Sure.
And get good people, give them the right products, technology, and give them process.
It reminds me, in the drag racing world, we still got a lot of old school crew chiefs out there that how do they make it go so fast? Well, it's either up here or maybe in a notebook, right? And then unfortunately, if these people get ill, if these people pass on,
knowledge is gone.
It's gone, and that's tough. So I really give you credit for being able to overcome that. And then the fire, $2.5 million. You get a check for $400,000. What was your reaction when you got that $400,000?
Yeah, it was weak, man. It was weak. I was borrowing money from friends, and my buddy loaned me his credit cards, and just doing everything I can just to get back, right? Because I had nothing to ship drag for 6 months, and yeah, so that was another challenging time. I thought, whew. So yeah, we've been beat over the head, you know. So now I look back and some guys try to knock us off, and I'm just like, good luck, buddy. Good luck. There's so many things in the world that are trying to take you out. And you know, I don't wish, like some guys say, well, what would you want to change? I wouldn't want to change nothing, because you know I wasn't ready to be successful back then. I would have fucked it all away, right? So if you're not ready, so I don't. All the things that have happened as far as the negative stuff, you know, just chalk it up to learning.
Sure.
Right, like a PhD in screw-ups.
Sure. Well, you know, I think it makes you appreciate success more. It makes you hungrier.
Absolutely.
It makes you learn. Nothing's going to humble you like life. And there's a lot of people out there that, unfortunately, a tragedy or a bad situation might end them. They might give up. They might
give up.
But not you. You said, I remember you even said in the video after the fire, you said, we're going to come back bigger and badder. You had a lot of confidence. What gave you so much confidence? Was it the belief in yourself and what you had already been through, showing up with a stack of traveler's checks?
Man, the thing is if you don't know what failure is and you don't accept it, then you just keep that out of your mind, right? The more negative shit you put in your mind, the more negative stuff that's going to come in your life, right? So I keep the negative stuff away from me. I don't even like being around people that are negative, right? Because they bring, right? The more negative shit you think about, the more negative shit you're going to get. So I don't even put failure. One of my old father-in-law said to me one time, he says, Nick, if you fail, we're playing pool. And I looked at him and I says, buddy, I'm never going to fail. And you know, failure is part of learning.
Sure.
Right? So but there's two types of failure. There's failure in the daily stuff, might cost you a couple bucks, but then there's failure to where you're out in the street corner, right? You lose everything, you're on the street corner, and that's the failure that I won't accept.
You're reminded me of what I've heard some great business people say. I think it was in the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad, where they said a lot of the true successful business people aren't afraid to fail because they look at failing as a learning opportunity.
Absolutely, it is.
And on the athletic side, I know Conor McGregor, if you like him, the fighter,
Yes.
he has a book called Win or Learn. And I like that. It wasn't win or lose, it was win or learn.
Exactly.
If you can learn something from one of those failures. So clearly, to put a bow on that, you've learned a lot because like I said, when I showed up, I knew you were successful. It's been great seeing you at all the rallies and all your bikes. I had no idea we were walking into a place like this. Do you ever have to pinch yourself when you come to work here?
Every day. Wow. I roll up to this place and I just can't believe it's ours. Right? Me and my wife bought this place 6 months ago. Right? And that was a challenge. Right? The little motorcycle guy tried to buy a multi-million-dollar building. Right? It's like,
Gosh.
Right? I couldn't get a loan to buy a popsicle. Right? So we bought this building. So it's been kind of crazy. Yeah.
Wow. And it seems like, too, that you're not complacent and that you're constantly developing new products and you got your eye on everything. What's your impression of what's going on right now with Harley-Davidson? I know from the last few years, some have kind of accused them of being out of touch with the consumer, and now it seems like maybe they're coming back.
That, you know what, I wish I could sit down with some of those guys and just give them my 5 cents, man, because we're in the middle of it, and we're passionate about the brand, right? And they need us. Don't focus on selling the motorcycle. Focus on the lifestyle. Focus on the culture. Focus on why this motorcycle has got to where it's at. Why it's 125 years old, right? It's not because it's a great motorcycle, right? You can buy a BMW that's going to do everything better, right? But it's the culture. People buy it because they want to buy something that's got that badass culture to it, the tradition, right? They're not buying the motorcycle. They're buying a life. They want to be seen on this cool motorcycle, and that's what we continue to do: is keep building dreams for these guys to dream about. And so when Harley looks at us aftermarket as being their competition, no, we're not your competition. We're your partners. We helping you create excitement for these things so people keep buying them, right? So the whole mindset needs to change, and I think they're starting to. We sponsor a lot of guys that they get bikes from Harley, right? And we help call them up for them, and so they are looking around, but they just got to focus on the tradition and the culture more than the motorcycle.
I like exactly what you're saying. And I think we are in an era where corporate America has kind of learned some lessons and is maybe heading that way. I heard a smart businessman on a podcast saying we're kind of coming out of this era where everybody took their core customer for advantage. They just thought they were always going to be there, right? Like, it would be like me right now doing this interview. Okay, I got my followers. I'm going to do my interview in Spanish today because this is going to be great. I'll pick up some Spanish-speaking people. But what about the people that watch my video and don't speak Spanish? They're not going to appreciate that. So when we watch these companies like Harley branch out and it gets rejected by the core, you got to value that core, right?
Absolutely. Don't jump out and try and get that 2%. Because it might offend the 80% they have, right?
Well, what was really cool this past year in Daytona, I got to talk with Bill and Karen Davidson. Yes. Very cool people. I don't know if you ever had a chance to meet them.
Yep.
But they are all about the history, the heritage, restoring the tradition of that company. I know they'd probably love to talk to you and pick your brain. Do you think with the way they're going now, they're heading in the right direction?
I don't know much about it all comes from the top, right? So. And they got their shareholders to, right? They got to make sure that they're looking good on paper for the shareholders, right? Just go back to the core. Go back to your core rider, right? Automatic motorcycles and electric motorcycles. That's not the future, right? Let's keep some of this old shit around a little more, right? It's right. No one likes change. But the guys that are the younger guys, they're not into this as much, right? I love the stunt guys and that. They're bringing some excitement for the younger guys to buy diners and buy these bikes to go stunt them, right? I like that. It keeps Harley relevant. But just keep the energy going and support as much aftermarket events as you can. And you say, is that they going in the right direction? I don't know, man. I don't know. It just depends if they don't go after that 2%.
Yeah, let's hope so, because I know about a decade ago I was hearing the whole industry was going to go electric by a certain date, and I'm no electric hater in that I appreciate the technology. I've been on a
Absolutely.
Stark dirt bike, 80 horsepower, my goodness.
Time and a place for anything.
Time and place. Harley Livewire, amazing, but I can tell you this unequivocally, I will never get the same sensation with a Harley Livewire pulling up as a Trask Turbo bike with a Trask exhaust system just rumbling and thundering. So I think it's important that we keep both going strong. I really do.
Yeah. Absolutely, and I've got a bunch of bikes, and my favorite motorcycle that gives me the passion and the heart, and is my '66 shovel, kick only, foot clutch,
Isn't that
jockey
cool?
shift,
Isn't that cool?
hangers, and it's my favorite motorcycle, and it's a shit box, right? It's the hardest, roughest motorcycle to ride. It doesn't make any power. It doesn't stop, and it's the coolest motorcycle with the most energy. I create more energy with that motorcycle than anything else. I roll up there with those high drag pipes on it, and I'll whack the throttle on that thing.
We got a lot in common, because I got a 2014 Hayabusa that's my road warrior. It's all modern Suzuki stuff. If I'm going on a long trip, that's the bike. Also have a 1977 KZ1000 that I bought in high school with an 1197 kit with a kicker that kicks back on you, and I got a bad shin because of it. But if you ask me which one to take around the block to get the sensation, I'm taking the 77 Rumbler that'll chatter your teeth every single time.
Absolutely.
And it's like, I wish everybody got to experience this, what it's like to ride their favorite old school motorcycle. The vintage experience is it's just great.
And you can get your kids involved in it and get them the excitement, right? It's what's going to keep the stuff going is memories, right?
Yes.
That's why I got the passion for it, because my dad rolled up on his shovel head midnight, right? Just got home from the bar on his shovel, pulling the driveway, and I could hear that thing coming all the way up the road, right? It was drag pipes, so you hear it from miles away, right? And I'd never forget that. And yeah, so that's what triggers the, man, when my dad had one, my granddad had one.
Yes.
And we got to keep that culture, that tradition.
It really is a simple source of joy. I was cursed like you from a young age. My dad tells me when I was born, he pulled his 76 KZ900 right up to the hospital on the curb to come see me for the first time. Then all my friends had dirt bikes. My stepfather was a dirt bike guy. Dad was a drag bike guy. So I just fell in love with it. And again, that's why I have this outlet. That's why I'm here with you, that I think we've met so many wonderful people through motorcycles, and it's such a positive, pleasant escape. When you look at all the things that you can go down the wrong path pretty easily.
Yeah.
I think motorcycles, I look back at what you need to keep a bike on the road, the finances, the know-how, and just concentrating to stay alive out there. You have to really keep your head on straight, I think. I love it. I wanted to ask you too, about talking about Harley-Davidson. Did you get a good look at the new CVO RR?
I did, yeah.
What do you think? Only 131 made. I know.
I think it's a nice bike. I think it's a great collector's bike, and it's probably fair price. It was around $100,000 for the bike. Yeah. No, I think it does everything well. Yeah, it's like anything. If you put a limit to it, it's got to create more people wanting it, right? So yeah, just keep the small numbers. I think what I would do is I'd go back and create the FXR again, pull those old jigs out and just create a limited run of FXRs, and they'll sell like hotcakes.
Very, very cool. And speaking of the CVO and the road racing, we got to talk about what you've accomplished in the Bagger Racing League, because my goodness, you guys my buddy Mark Frick was out there with a Trask bike and a few other of my friends, and you were tearing it up. How did you get involved in that?
Well, we were one of the original companies to start the Bagger Racing. It's actually a long story, but Rob Bitus came to me with a Le Mans event a few years back, and then he also approached me in Sturgis, and he says, "What about racing baggers?" And I said, "You know what? I'm in. Right? I'll build something." Right? That's what premised it. Right? It was being Rob and a couple other guys in Sturgis, and then Rob came up to me at an MVP show in Le Mans. MVP show, I can't remember, it was Kentucky or one of them, and he says, "Nick, are we going to do it? We're going to do it because I need you on board so I can go pump all these other guys." Right, so then he went to Vance and Hines, and he went to all the other companies that were in the hall, and got them all to commit. Right, but he used me as a guinea pig, right? Because I got energy, and I'm going to talk shit and get him going, and fueling, and all the guys out there. And so they all jumped in, and that's how it started. And then we raced. It was during COVID. We raced at Laguna Seca. That was the first race. We couldn't have any any spectators. And it was the last race of the Moto America put it on, right? Rob was teamed up with Moto America.
Sure.
And it was the last race of the weekend because they didn't want the bikes oiling down the track, right? These shitty Harleys out there. And we built a turbocharged bike. It was the first turbocharged bike to ever be on Laguna Seca, right? And it was, I had Kyle Wyman riding my bike.
Oh man, what a talent.
Yeah, so Kyle was riding my bike. And we got 4th place right, in the race, which was good because with 3 factory teams in front of us.
Sure.
It was the 2 Indian teams and the Harley team. Vance Hines and 2 Indian.
Very tough.
And we're the first kind of privateer team. And that's what got us started, right? And then Rob had a fallout with Moto America. Moto America went that way, and Bob and Rob went that way with the BRL. And so I stuck with Rob, and all the original guys did too. And we built a series. And we went out there, and I had Shane Narbonne riding my bike, insane Shane Narbonne, and we dominated it for 3 years. Got three the GP championships, and we got a Pro Stock championship too with a little gunner on our backup bike.
Amazing.
And so then I thought, well, shit, I'm going to go play with the factory teams because we'd been racing with them a couple of times, but I just couldn't quite get the bike ready for Daytona. Right? We're still doing testing when we get out there to race. And that track is really demanding on the bike. So one of the first times we went out there and, around 180.6 mile an hour. And our motor was holding up, it would hold up. And the battery, the little red battery, the Harley-Davidson battery went out, took me out of the race. So I was like, God damn it. So it was always something electrical that would take me out. And then it was a throttle body that took me out the next year. So yeah, we thought, well, shit, I'm gonna go ahead and build something that take all the limits out. I'll throw everything out, resources at it, and we built that bike in the corner back here.
Wow.
And it was quite a bit faster than our older bike, but we just ran out of time.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, we see it in drag racing all the time that you have $1 million operation and a 5-cent part can take you out on the wrong day. But this had to be another level of gratification for you, because I remember one time I heard a guy ask a team owner, "What's it take to race pro stock motorcycle?" And he said, "Son, when you can light your cigars with $100 bills, you can come over to this world." So being able to be a team owner, I mean, we know racing, uber expensive. That had to be another level of gratification for you that, wow, I've really made it. Did that sink in?
Yeah, to be able to own your own team, right? But it was like, I want to be the best, right? I want to be the fastest guy. But to do that, you need cubic dollars, right? And
very much so.
And I didn't have the resources to do it, and we were buying this building, and I said, I gotta keep my pennies, man. I gotta pull it in, because a lot of guys you get the bug. You want to go race, but sometimes it doesn't make sense financially. So you gotta have that balance. Otherwise, a lot of guys go broke.
Well, you're the perfect guy to ask about those magic 3 letters we talk about in racing, ROI, return on investment. Back in the day, I think racing was tremendous investment. Is it still that way? And did you find benefit for Trask having the race bikes out there?
Absolutely. We were able to prove the longevity of our products, prove that we're a contender, right? And there was a lot of demand we put on the system. Right, so we could see what would break under extreme temperatures, and we just fixed that stuff so guys on the street can never break it. Right, if you can run around Daytona at 6,800 RPM for 28 seconds, right? We data logged our bike 28 seconds at 28 seconds, 6,800 RPM at 16 pounds of boost, right? Running at 240 horse, and got the thing singing. And it come back, you pull the heads off, you pull the pistons out, and she looks clean as a whistle, right? Then you know you got something.
A lot could be learned, that's for sure. Do you think you'll ever jump back in full bore, or is that something
I'd like to, man, but it just comes down to being able to justify it, right? I can keep my bills paid before I can go race again.
Wow, that's probably the humble man from New Zealand, India. I know when I had the opportunity to work for Forrest Lucas, his name up on the Colts Stadium, right? But he's the same guy that would come to California and say, "Hey, turn these lights off, guys. What do you got all these lights on?" And I'm like, I love it. That's the poor guy that grew up, and you never lose that. My grandpap was kind of like that as well. He was a survivor of the Depression and World War II, and even though he found success and was comfortable later in life, he never lost that. And I like it when people don't lose that.
You always got to value a dollar.
Very cool, man.
Right? A lot of people don't get that because they never built it themselves. But you got to value a dollar, and I feel sorry for the guys that don't because they just piss it away.
Well, speaking of valuing a dollar, I better not take up too much of your time. I only got a couple more for you. I could talk to you all day, but would like to know what is the future of Trask? Where do you see this company heading?
Well, right now we got a lot. We're on a strong growth pattern. It creates more excitement. I've got a lot of dreams that I want to create at these events. I want to get my truck on the road full time, but yeah, you'll see a lot more Trask to come. I'm not going to sit out there and tell you what I'm doing, but
I think my dream that I just got in my head, I'd love to sit you down with Bill and Karen Davidson. I don't know how much pull they have, but how about a limited edition turbo bike from the factory?
I'd love to.
Could you imagine that?
I'd love to be. See, Harley put me on their list, right? To not sell to list. And that bums me out because I sold lots of Harleys because I sold some bikes to a friend of mine in Australia, and then they take them to the dealer, and the dealer get pissed off, and they came back, and Nick bought these bikes, so we don't sell Nick any more bikes. So that kind of bummed me out. It's like, you know what, I'm one of your biggest ambassadors, and I'm here preaching the brand, and so that's the small-minded thinking, right? That's usually you sell motorcycles, you get a steak dinner. No, they put me on the list.
How long ago was that?
It's been years.
Well, let's hope the new regime. I've heard some horror stories about the old regime from some of my Harley dealer buddies. Hopefully the new regime, if they watch this, somebody watches this, let's get you off that list, send you some motorcycles. My goodness, I told you the story that right now they want a lot of the dealerships to look the same. And I know guys that are very successful, and they don't even call them dealerships, they call them clubhouses because it's all about passion. They want you to walk in, they want you to feel a certain way, and they know their demographic.
Yeah.
And I think that...
Make them the same.
You think the new regime in Harley's got to appreciate people like you and people that can move bikes, you know?
And they got to grab those guys, right? Because they're unique, right? The really passionate guys. They don't want all their stores ending up like a Mazda dealership, right? There's no passion there. So keep the unique, identity. Keep the identity separate. Right? These dealers can have their own identity. Let them do their thing. Let them create their own energy. Don't put them all in a box.
I agree. Variety is the spice of life, isn't it?
Yeah, man. Don't put them in a box.
For sure. Another thing I got to ask you about is I see I got a lot of friends that are in the hamster club. Rick Ward, Brock Davidson, all these cool guys that I get to see out in Sturgis. It seems like a real tight-knit community.
Yeah,
how'd you get hooked up with the hamsters?
I've been friends with them a long time, and I've been a hamster for 15 years, I think. We all have this a common passion for custom motorcycles, right? And it doesn't matter if you're a doctor or if you're a mechanic or if you're a floor sweeper. It doesn't matter. If you love custom motorcycles and that's your passion, then you got something to talk about, right? And it's a great group of guys, and we focus on giving back to the community, and we do a lot of good things for the community, and we have a great time together. And it's a worldwide group. There's roughly 400 members in the group. The original guys that started the group, the hamster group, they're really close friends today, right? Alan Ness was one of the original guys, right? He passed away and a couple of years ago now, and I respected that guy so much, right? He paved the way for us younger guys, right? Basically, and there's so many of the legends in the group that help our industry stay strong.
Sure.
Dave Perowitz, Donnie Smith, all these guys, Ed Kerr, all the old time guys, right? You start looking back, some of my key really good friends just get in the Hall of Fame, right? I got in the Hall of Fame in 2020, I think it was.
Congratulations.
And that was a humbling experience.
Yeah.
And I thought they ran out of people, right? Why the hell you put me in there? You ran out of people, what? You put my name over a hat, and
you earned it. You earned it. You earned it, my friend.
I didn't want it. It's like,
I like that humility though, because we've seen some people in this industry. Maybe that head gets a little too big too fast, right? And life will knock you back down pretty quick.
Yeah, I didn't want it, so I wasn't proud of it at all because I felt that I wasn't deserving of it. And so my buddy, I says a lot of these guys that get in the Sturgis Hall of Fame, they've done it their whole life. And Brian looks at me, my best buddy, and he goes, Nick, what have you done your whole life? Accept it, right? So that's after that, I accept it, and you know what? I can give back. And basically, I can give back. I can show that it's achievable. That you know, if you work hard enough and you got a dream and you want it bad enough, you can go get it. You can do anything you want if you want it bad enough. The only difference between me and you is the way you think.
That's just tremendous advice. I'm with you 100%. Arizona Bike Week, how important is that to you? I know you're very close to the Hideaway Grill, and is it Mr. Bradshaw that runs that?
It's our home event, and so I'll have my own industry party upstairs here for the Friday, and you know, we'll set up at Mark's place up at the Roadhouse in Cave Creek, and we'll be up there supporting the event, and it'll be a great turnout, and a lot of fun.
How many rallies a year do you go to?
We do 3 or 4 rallies. We do Daytona Bike Week, Sturgis, Arizona Bike Week, and a couple other small ones.
Do those represent a big uptick in business? Do you find new customers at those places?
Absolutely. Daytona and Sturgis is our big ones. Yeah. We take our semi truck out there and we set up, and and I got 12 guys out there. I got 4 guys in sales and 6 guys or whatever it is in the install department.
That's awesome.
So we go out there and we make it happen.
Super awesome, man. I love it. So last thing for you is, if there's a young man out there with a dream that's an innovator that wants to get involved in this mechanical realm, that loves the engine just like you did, what would you tell that young man, or maybe a parent of a kid who realizes their child has an interest in mechanical things?
Support them. Biggest thing with kids, man, is our society is telling you can't do shit, right? We're not taught how to do things that are practical, or our society doesn't push us out there to go be successful, to go start a business, to go do it, or to learn financial success. None of that's taught anywhere. So if you teach your kids, okay, you can have anything you want if you want it bad enough. Just don't put limits on yourself, right? They're a leg above most kids, right? And you can do anything you want. Just because you have to follow the pattern of, right, get these grades, and then you go to college and you get that grade, and then you go get a good job, and then you get married and you have a picket fence, and then you have 13 kids, and then you retire and you get cancer and die, right? Don't follow that. Do what you want, man, and enjoy your life.
I like it.
Right?
I like it
a lot. A lot of guys get married and they sell all their shit. I get married and I buy more.
Well, that means you got a good lady and you married the right lady as well, too. So shout out Heather. Super, super awesome. Nick, this has been amazing. Is there anything else you would like to add? Anything else you'd like to say about Trask, your philosophy?
Man, I'm just humble, and it's a humbling experience to be where we're at today, and I just thank everyone for supporting us, and you know, they spend their hard-earned money, right, on our products, and I want the value to be there, and I just want to say thanks.
I appreciate you greatly. And before you kick me out of here, is it okay if we take that little stroll around and see this great place?
I'll show you a little box.
Excellent. Well, I promise you I won't stay too long. This has been great, Joe. I can't wait to get a look around, guys. Let's go check it out. All right, guys, as promised, we got to give you a look around this incredible facility, way bigger than I thought. And Nick, thank you so much. I got to ask you about these assault bikes, because, man, they're some of the best looking bikes I've ever seen. Tell me a little bit about these things.
Okay, well, quite a few years ago, we started out with the lay frame bikes. What was that, 2007, 2008? And, you know, my style was kind of a little different than most, so we came up with that bike, and we designed the front wheel, and some guys wanted to buy the front wheel, and you can't buy the wheel, you gotta buy a bike, right?
I like that marketing.
So yeah, we started building a line of assault bikes, the lay frame bikes. We did a speed glide before that, the Trask speed glide. We did 16 of those. And so we just started building our own limited bikes with my own little style to it. And then we get to this style of bike. It's more of a grudge bike.
Good Lord, man.
It's a Road King. It's stretched.
Look at
143 and a turbocharger. It makes just under 300 horse. It's a streetable bike.
Unbelievable. What's the weight on a motorcycle like this?
That thing's around 650, 680.
Wow. Very, very impressive. How many of these do you pump out?
Not many, man. Just probably 2 or 3 a year.
2 or 3, okay. Yeah. So it's for special customers, special orders?
Absolutely. And a lot of times we develop products as we do it, right? A lot of our products are developed from building custom bikes. We try to do stuff that's different, that's unique, and we don't like to have something like anyone else. So
That's impressive. That'll get you to Arizona Bike Week in a hurry. I know that.
yeah, man, you get warp speed real quick.
Well, man, this is awesome. Again, I appreciate you showing us around. I can't believe when exactly did you move into this facility again?
We moved in here about a year and a half ago.
Okay, wow, this had to be a big step for you, huh?
Man, it was 26 years in business.
Woof.
And we finally got our own place. We rented for 24 of the years, and it was kind of a dream come true to get our own place. And
I'd say so. Not bad for a guy who showed up from New Zealand with traveler's checks, huh?
man, my little Forrest Gump suitcase, and didn't have shit.
Well,
So
look at
this is kind of just like a collection area of the bikes. Rocco, Pops, come on.
And I'll tell you this, Nick, too. I don't want to call. Oh, beautiful. You got to have shop dogs for sure. I don't want to call anybody out, but you know how I truly judge a shop. This is how you can judge a shop. Look at this, guys. Clean as can be. I've been to some, unfortunately, where hey, everybody's got their own level of comfort, which is cool.
Yeah,
but this thing, you can eat off this.
Yeah, it's to me it's filthy, but you got 45 guys that are running through here every day.
45 guys, unbelievable.
Come on, Pops, let's go.
All right.
Come on. So this is our speed shop over here. This is kind of where we started.
Okay.
In 2000, we started with building our own. We did service work, performance work.
Wow.
That's kind of what I was known for was to build motors and do performance work. So
Look at this.
we're still doing it today.
Is this the wheel where you need to buy the motorcycle to get the wheel?
Yeah, that was one of them. Yeah. So we machined the wheel out of a 600-pound block of aluminum.
Holy moly.
And when it's done, it's 21 pounds plus a rotor.
Unbelievable.
Well, it's got a rotor and tire on it now and bearings. So
Unbelievable. Wow, that's awesome. Gotta love it.
so yeah, that's our speed shop in there. That's where we do all our R&D and make sure that Trask products fit.
Okay.
And make sure that
Do you do much service?
very little.
I was gonna
Only
say-
for our long-time customers.
I wonder, is that difficult for you? Because I know some of the drag racing speed shops, there's always somebody knocking on the door. Can you change my tire? Can you change my oil? And usually these shops are just too busy to do that kind of stuff.
We'll do it if we know the guy, right? And
that's
it's
cool.
kind of like a relationship-based deal.
Sure.
We don't advertise service work, nothing like that, right? We got enough work of our own, and we'll just keep developing more and more products.
Sure, makes sense.
So and you can't develop a performance product without testing it on a dyno, right? So we got a room within a room,
Wow, look at this.
and so
This is where the magic happens, huh?
we do. Yeah, I've had this dyno since it's probably got more miles on it than most dynos in the country. But yeah, I've had this dyno since 2000.
Wow.
This is the dyno that got me started.
Was this always your bread and butter when it
Yes.
came to the tune? Because I know researching your history a little bit, it seems like when Harleys went to fuel injection, that was really your time to
Yes.
shine, right?
It was, right, and that was actually the Magneti Morelli with the Power Commander. That was yeah.
That's like your buddy Brock tells me sometimes. He says he can't believe he used to have to get fuel on his hands to make jetting changes.
Yes, absolutely.
We're in a whole different era now.
Absolutely.
Very cool.
Yeah,
That's
so
amazing.
this thing's got so many miles on it. Wow. Come on, Pops, Rocco.
What an awesome tour, guys.
So we
we're getting here.
pride ourselves on making our products here.
So pretty much everything in house.
Pretty much everything.
Wow.
So we get some support stuff from other places, but I'll show you what we manufacture.
Yeah. Let's take a look. Oh my gosh, man, unbelievable.
So this does another little R&D area.
Wow, look at how clean this is. Man, you got a racer's mentality. I don't know if you've hung out with a lot of racers, but I can tell you all the performance speed shops I go to, this is exactly what it looks like. Everything so organized, so clean, laid out in perfect order.
Yeah, you have to.
Wow.
You have to if you want to do it correctly and not lose shit. So we get ready for Daytona. So we get all our kits pre-staged.
Wow. How much inventory do you take Daytona?
We'll turbocharge roughly 40 bikes. while we're out
Wow.
there. Yeah.
Where do you guys set up at Daytona?
Teddy Morse.
I'll come see you. Okay.
Teddy
very
Morse
cool.
Harley. We set our
Yeah, we'll
semi
come-
up. We do installs there.
Sure.
Free installs. They buy the kit. We install it for free.
I'll definitely come see you. A lot of times it's hard for me to break away from the craziness that is Main Street, but I will make sure to get up to Teddy Morse to see you.
Yeah, you
I
go
like it
from
up there as well. Wow, look at this semi over here. When did you buy this?
I've had a few years.
Wow, is that going to Daytona?
Yes.
Wow, unbelievable.
So yeah, we'll load it up. It leaves the 20th.
What a beautiful truck.
And our driver will take it out there. And,
do you have a favorite motorcycle rally?
I like Sturgis.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
That's
How you
kind of-
doing? Good to see you.
So it's assembly. Actually, I should start from the beginning, but
Good
we
Lord.
do all our own coatings too. So it's all batch coating.
Wow.
I like to control things, so
Yeah, I see that. You don't outsource.
Yeah, we
you
try-
like that control, huh?
we control the quality and the time frame. So we do our own exhaust coatings, powder coatings, a
Unbelievable.
little bit of Cerakote.
Unbelievable, man.
Okay, so
This is incredible.
this is just a blasting room for coating.
Wow.
It's
See, we
another
got some
dirty room.
noise going on here on a Saturday morning like that. What are these guys working on, Nick?
Just polishing, getting some stuff ready for Daytona.
Oh, okay. Very cool. It's that time of year.
Yeah.
How many days a week do you typically come into this building?
I'm here 6 days a week, 5 days a week.
Wow. How about that? So the boss doesn't, it's not like the boss gets to put his feet up and
Man,
take a little vacation, huh?
Well, I go to vacations too, but yeah.
Somebody's got to do the quality control. Hey, side by side in here, you enjoy this as well?
Yeah, we just got that a few weeks ago.
Okay.
We're looking at putting a turbocharger on them.
Oh boy.
So,
You know, there's a big market there. That's what I was going to ask you. I know I just talked to the great Rob Muzzy, and he kind of transitioned into motorcycles, into UTVs, and
Yes.
they're big in the turbo UTV class. I can
Yeah,
see
so-
you fitting right into that
yeah, so that's something if we get bored,
if you get bored.
we'll start playing with it. So
There we go.
yeah, you can see we manufacture all our exhaust pipes,
Unbelievable.
all our billet products, it's all made here.
Oh, look at all these hot rods back here as well. Man, what's the story with these hot rods?
I drive them down here and then I don't take them home. So probably should get some of my junk out of here. Give the guys somewhere to work.
Very, very cool, man. How long have you had these?
A couple of years. I bought this one from a buddy of mine. And,
Okay.
And that blue Galaxy, that's my wife's.
Wow. Unbelievable.
So yeah,
Look at it. How many CNC machines?
9 or 10.
9 or 10.
Yeah,
Beautiful Haas machines.
yeah. And we got
Wow.
a couple more going to show up here in the next month.
Continue to grow.
Yeah,
So are we in a good place with the motorcycle industry?
absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely.
I got some data that I was doing a story that new bike sales are down, but ridership is up, meaning that people are fixing up their old used bikes. Is that what
Yeah,
you're seeing?
Yes, absolutely. And every company that's in the industry should support anybody that's creating excitement, right? Our customer needs to, or the guy that rides these things, he needs to be excited, right? Keep the dream alive,
Sure.
right? And that's what we continue to do is build dreams for people.
Yeah. Well, you
Right.
guys definitely do that. All somebody needs to do is come to the bike show that you put on in Sturgis with the hamsters.
Yeah.
And man, that thing, I can't look away for 5 seconds. It's just like custom, bagger, big wheel, chopper.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
a cool group of guys you got out there.
Absolutely. But that's the deal, man. If everybody follows each other into the ditch, right, then we have no industry. So
Yes.
I stay away from those guys and I want to go up.
Very cool.
Right, and I try and influence the other guys to follow me, man. Let's just create excitement and go forward, right? Give the guy something to dream about. Guy's sitting at his job. He might not like it, but he's dreaming about that motorcycle or that exhaust pipe or that whatever the hell it is. And so that's what we want to continue to do is give guys something to dream about.
I love your philosophy, and I think you and I have the same sentiment, that the reason I started this channel is that life is very, very difficult. We go through a lot of trials and tribulations, and I feel like motorcycles are our escape. It's the dessert
Absolutely.
tray of life where we deserve that every once in a while. You need to let loose. What I love about motorcycles too is I feel like no matter what's going on in your life, when you're on that bike, you have to focus on the road and the machine because you have no other choice. If your
Yeah.
head's elsewhere, you're going to be in big trouble.
Yeah, right.
So it's to me, no matter how stressed I am, no matter what's going on in my life, I get in that bike and I'm just thinking about the bike and the road. That's
Yeah,
it.
it all goes away. All the bullshit goes away. Life's hard enough, and you know we do this stuff because we enjoy it and we love it. And yeah, I get a smile on my face as soon as I put my leg over it.
Amen.
And it doesn't matter what it is. It could be a mini bike. It could be a chopper, it could be whatever.
Amen to that. Now, if my research is correct too, your first motorcycle that made you fall in love with is a Z50?
Yeah, absolutely.
Do we have a Z50 in here?
I got one at the house.
Okay, I was gonna say, because that's a bike that I got my start on. A lot of people got their start on. I see them at Meekum selling like hotcakes.
They are.
Everybody wants one. Wow.
Yeah, well, they are. These are our display bikes here. These go to all the rallies.
Wow.
So we put all our products on them so we can display our products.
Wow.
And right in there again, you gotta build something, give the guys something to dream about.
What would you say is the most popular model for your business, your customer?
Well, we do a lot of road glide stuff and a lot of Softail ST.
Okay.
Yeah, we do tons of it.
Wow.
You see where we manufacture the products, see where we coat them, see where we assemble them, and where we box them up and put them on the shelf. And then we're exclusive with Le Mans Drag Specialties. And so we've got a great relationship with that company.
That's been quite a few years now, right?
Yeah, I got a handshake deal with Fred Fox, and
God rest his soul.
yeah.
And your buddy Tom Motzko, right?
Oh, Tommy, yeah.
Here we go.
Actually, he's retiring, which is
How about that? Well, enjoy your retirement, Mr. Motzko.
And so, yeah. So I'll walk you through here.
Thank you.
It's just our little print shop. We do all our wraps and stuff, right? As far as all that sort of shit.
Wow. Now, I would say this is definitely, again, driving home the point of how everything's hands-on. I bet a lot of companies sub all this stuff out. What
Yeah.
made you decide that I want to control even this?
I don't like to wait. Right? If I want to get something done.
If you don't like the, I like that philosophy. If you don't like to wait. Super cool, man. Look at all this cool stuff, all the publicity that he has been given over the years. Super cool.
There's a few magazines there.
One magazine we can't show. It's okay. Easy Riders. Shout out Easy Riders back in the day.
Well, actually, a friend of ours, Keith Ball, he's starting to back up.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Super cool.
He was one of the original editors of Easy Rider.
Very cool.
So this is our marketing department. This is where Alex and Darren, they create the assets to make us look good.
Wow.
And
Yeah, because a lot of people don't realize, I mean, to even your products, to get them photographed the right way for the catalog, there's a process to that, to be able to get a good...
it's a big deal. It's
Wow.
you'll make it look like $1 million.
Super cool.
Yeah, we moved into this place and it was kind of a shithole. And yeah, we just threw everything that I could at it, and it just
yeah.
this is our little
Yeah,
little
man.
race room
This is so cool.
collection of all our old race stuff.
Now, are you just going to indefinitely keep all of these race bikes, you think?
Man, I don't like to sell anything, right?
I don't blame you.
And it's kind of like some history of the company, and we won the BRL 3 years in a row, and
Wow.
and I wanted to go play with the factory teams, but just couldn't have the funding to go testing and to really do it properly. And,
Well,
so
I'm proud of you there, because I know I talked to a lot of drag racers that wish they still had their old championship bikes. And we know the way racing works, if you want top dollar, you got to sell it when you're on top. So a lot of those guys did that to keep themselves going. But if you can have the ability to keep them, I think you'll be very thankful for that.
yeah,
Because they're historic.
absolutely. And what's crazy is actually this one, that one's flat.
Wow.
They should start and run. I like to keep my shit.
Ah, that is so cool, man.
I have
Look
something
at
that
that.
doesn't
He's
run,
got
right?
battery. Jay Leno would be proud. So would Dale's Wheels Through Time. I don't know if you've ever
Yes.
been there.
Oh,
You
absolutely.
ever been there?
Yeah.
Okay, I was there. Wow. That's impressive. There's not many places you can go to where you can start the bike.
Start it, yeah.
Man, we got more motorcycles in here.
Yeah, I'm kind of like a
Oh, cool. What we got?
kind of like a hoarder.
Early street bike here?
Yeah, that's actually we built that for a friend of mine.
Get the
81
bars
Charlotte.
on this thing. Wow.
It's kind of it's kind of our style. Like,
Beautiful. Oh, and look at this. Wow. Talk about old school.
it's a '93 Heritage that I've had since '95,
Man.
and
It's got to be wickedly fast. Lightweight.
yeah, I flipped this bike at the track
Oh, God.
back in early 2000s.
Coming off the line.
Yeah,
Hopefully you're okay. No
Oh, yeah, I was
injuries? Okay. What was the best ET? Do you remember?
980s.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, with the
That's
controls
that.
on it.
Had to outrun a lot of guys on a sport bike in the beginning. I know that.
I haven't ridden that thing in probably 15, 18 years. So. But yeah, I
Beautiful.
bought that bike out from New Zealand.
Unbelievable. Was it tough getting it over from New Zealand?
Yeah, they put it in the crate, and so I brought that over, and then I went to motorcycle school, and then in '98 I rode it to Sturgis.
That's so cool. So how many miles do you think it's got on it total?
Oh fuck, that thing's got stories and miles for days.
No odometer necessary.
Yeah, it's been around New Zealand a bunch of times, and it's been in creeks. It's been everywhere.
Wow.
Cow shit everywhere. I had my office in there. It's not a big deal.
Unbelievable. This place is so super cool. So super cool. Thank you for that, Nick. Wow, I like all the art on the walls as well. Very, very cool.
Yeah, right. I'm proud of my place, and
Yeah.
I want all my employees to feel good when they come to work.
Yeah. What's it take to keep it this clean? Do you have a cleaning crew, or have you told
my
these?
guys are pretty good, and you know, we get a woman comes in one day a week and gives a little spruce up.
Sure.
But yeah, upstairs here there used to be a storage. Used to be just storage, nothing up there. No AC, no nothing. So it's kind of wasted space. So I went up there and built a
I guess we
classroom.
can see upstairs. Let's go check it out. Didn't know there was an upstairs as well.
Now we tried to keep it on the down low because it's kind of,
A place to escape.
well, it's who the hell has a lounge or a bar above their bike shop?
Wow. Whoa.
Oh,
Are you kidding me?
yeah.
Can I move in? Can I live here?
My wife won't let me live here.
Holy.
So yeah, this was all storage before,
Unbelievable, man.
and I had a wild idea that I was going to turn it into a speakeasy lounge, and
This is nicer than most bars I've ever been to.
yeah.
I mean, look at the lighting. I'm sure you've had some unbelievable parties up here,
Yeah,
huh?
we had an industry party. My 50th was last April.
Wow, happy
So we
birthday.
had our 25-50 party, 25 years in business. And my 50th up here, we had 300 people up here.
Incredible.
And
Absolutely incredible.
yeah, so it was kind of wasted space before.
Wow.
And we just had my buddy came in, built the bar for us. And it's a fully working bar with running water and all that shit.
My goodness.
Insulated it,
Very
AC and
impressive.
all the crap in there.
Very impressive.
And then I went broke because I had to buy 50 couches. So my buddy Rusty from D&D Exhaust built me that throne for my 50th. So that's probably the best gift I've ever got. And here's our classroom. This is where we teach other shops around the country how to tune turbocharged bikes.
Wow.
So
Very,
we get,
very
we get
cool.
guys flying into town and
How often do you have class?
every couple of months.
Every couple months.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
The table. Can't ask for more beautiful scenery as well with these big windows here in the desert. And
yeah, man, it's kind of a dream come true with this building.
Turbo V-Rod, any significance to this motorcycle being?
Turbocharged that like 2004.
That's cool. Were you a big V-Rod fan?
Back in the day, that's what started. That's what got our turbo business take off.
That's
taken
cool.
off.
I love this bike. I wish we always ask the question why Harley doesn't produce it anymore. Hopefully someday maybe they'll bring them back. I don't know.
Yeah, I doubt it. It's just the traditional guys didn't accept it.
Very true. Very true.
You gotta, yeah. Because we're not selling the motorcycle, right? You're selling the lifestyle, the dream, the passion, the.
Yeah, that's what it all comes down to, from what I understand. Wow, unbelievable, man. What?
So, you've seen pretty much everything.
Well, again, I can't tell you how much I appreciate this. I guess as we walk downstairs, my final question for you, what I like to ask all of my successful people, all of my legends, is if there's a piece of life advice you could offer somebody out there right now with everything you've learned,
Yeah.
everything you've been through, what would you say?
Oh man, there's lots. There's so many things, but I got 3 rules of my life, right? Which I came up with is, and if everybody just does these 3 things, you'll be successful, whatever it is. Give first, doesn't matter what it is. Give a smile, open the door for somebody, give first, give more than you take, right? Give more than you take and follow through on your word. You do those 3 things, you're light years ahead of everyone else.
Well, I hope you guys are taking notes out there, because that was absolutely wonderful. Nick, I want to thank you so much, man. This has been awesome. Guys, drop your comments down below. Get here. Make sure you get a Trask on your bike. This has been unbelievable. The dogs are loving it. Dogs are fired up. They love this interview. And again, I can't tell you how thankful I am. I know you're a busy guy. Thanks for opening up the shop on a weekend. Look forward to seeing you guys at all the rallies. I will definitely see you in Daytona, Arizona Bike Week, Sturgis, and all parts in between. Thanks again, Nick. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys for watching. Again, drop your comments. If you like this video, here's another one for you. Subscribe right in the middle. And you know, if there's anything fast, custom, or turbo motorcycles, Cycledrag is in.